I see one person watching. This is my first time doing live while doing it on Zoom. I'm a little wigged out seeing me on two different places, and the one on YouTube is delayed like a lot. So I'm trying to figure out one person watching. This is my first time doing. Okay, so I need to mute myself over there. You know, this is what you do. This is just what you do. Pretend like it's my first flight. I don't have it, and it's my first time doing it. So, you know, why not? I'm flowing with it. You flow, I flow, we all flow. This is so, this is interesting. I mean, it's delayed by like solid 10, 20 seconds, if not like a lot. All right. I wish you could see what I could see. All right, while we wait for people, we got 2 more minutes. While we wait for people to get here, the rest of my mentees, everyone else to get here, I'm gonna turn off my video. I'll be back in 1 minute. All right, y'all. Welcome to How to Break into Private Aviation in 6 weeks or less. I am going to share, like, this is seriously delayed a solid minute. So it's like whenever it came on, yep, see it, yeah. And then when it comes on, so I just cannot watch the YouTube side. I'm only gonna watch the Zoom side because it is like totally wigging me out. Okay, there we go. All right, so pulling up my presentation, so we have some visuals. Here, share screen. Let's share. This one. Present. You know, you gotta learn to flow. That's all we're doing. Present full screen. Sure, why not? Here we go. All right, here we are. Ta-da! All right, how to break into private aviation in 6 weeks or less. And here we are. I am going to give you a lay of the land a little bit, so that way you know a little bit what to expect. I am going to be a somewhat of a stickler to the 60 minutes, so that way it doesn't drag on. I'm a person that I stay straight to the point. This is what we're doing. I don't hum around and like do all this like teasing stuff, and I don't have time for that. I just don't. So this is how I operate. I'm gonna give you. I've got a presentation to give you actual details of how to break into private aviation, how things work, what I offer, and we'll go from there. So here we go. So who is this presentation for? And it's for anyone that's desiring to be in private aviation. Anyone that is sitting in countless applications with absolutely nothing happening, not even an automated response. I have been there. I've been there. Oh my gosh, have I been there? Where I was like, there's a specific moment in my mind at this, like, I'm thinking of, I have sent in so many resumes. This was 4+ years ago. I was like, I have been sending in so many resumes, so many, like, just countless. I lost count. I didn't even know who I was sending them to by that point. It was just like, oh, there's another job, let's apply. There's another job, let's apply. And I wouldn't even get an automated response. I'm like, aren't these people so at least to like show that, like, did it go through? Like, come on now. But anyway, there's not even that. So it can get very disheartening. And then back on track of who is this for? It's for anybody that's coming from commercial hospitality career experience, or someone that has a desire to serve others. There's a big misconception that commercial is like you have to have aviation experience, and you do not at all. I will teach that it is not what you know, but who you know. If you don't take anything away from today, it is who you know, not what, not what, it is who. So you do not, and there's several people that it's been very interesting to me that come across that say that they've got, like, I need to go try for the airlines first and have that commercial experience. And that is not the case at all. So this is for anybody that is hospitality career experience, or some, basically if you have a desire to serve others. And it does, that's what I just did. I just said that. Doesn't matter who, if you've never flown before, if you don't have any aviation experience whatsoever, it does not matter. It does not matter at all. It is who you know. Being a flight attendant, whenever you see CFA, I've said it several times in here, it is corporate flight attendant. It's what it stands for. So being a flight attendant, a corporate flight attendant, is anyone who's willing to put in the hustle, making 1,000,000% commitment, whatever the cost. And I cannot emphasize this enough. And it is very different from commercial in that you are waiting for them to put out the app that you can actually apply. And it's not like that at all. You have to hustle. You have to hustle. And that's what I'm gonna teach you in a little bit, just how do you hustle? If you hustle, what do you do? Like you can hustle pushing a wall over, and the wall's not gonna go anywhere. That's like, it has to be a productive hustle. But the main thing that I see happening is the commitment part, is that the 50-75%, if you really truly want success, it doesn't work like that. It has to be 1,000,000%. Like 100% just kind of doesn't seem like enough, because it's a matter of truly taking it into your own hands of of making this happen for you. So this also goes into the next part of what is a CFA versus a commercial flight attendant, and there is a lot of confusion here. It is a human being that has a heart to serve, lives out hospitality in their everyday life. We're going to work is simply an extension of how they live out their life. I hate reading. I don't like to do that. And so I'm trying to like actually talk to you like you're like human beings. But you have to have a heart to serve, because that's what this boils down to. And you have so many responsibilities that if you do not have that already in your heart already, it's not going to come. Like there is the clamor of the traveling, and you're on a private jet and you're serving the elite and whatever. But if you do not have the heart to serve and live it out every single day, like even not at work, it's going to be difficult to make your place in the industry. It has to be a part of who you are. The corporate flight attendant, yes, they are safety minded, but they are very much not robots. Like they're very much self-aware and aware of their surroundings, situationally, like self-aware, situationally aware. And whenever you're in the commercial side of safety training, you hear this, if you're not from the commercial side, you hear of them going to training for weeks on end and learning these commands and yelling and like you have to get everybody evacuated within 90 seconds. It's all FAA regulations. It becomes very much a brainwash of like, this is how you have to be. And to this day, I worked for Delta in 2008 to 2012. And even though that was 11 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it is now, I can go back to those the evacuation commands, like just like that, and like can do them in my sleep. It's that, like that 6 weeks was so ingrained in me. But my point in coming back to the CFA side is that it is we're not robots. Like that comes very robotic because you have to, because you're in survival mode on the commercial side. But on the private side, it's not that way at all. Safety is important. I will say that, make sure I'm very clear on that. It's just the robotic side we're not. CFAs, they also exude the ability to adapt and be moldable to constantly changing circumstances in service and in safety protocols. There's a not a day that's the same. Every single day, every single trip, every single leg is completely different, whether it has to do with the safety stuff, it has to do with catering, if it has to do with passengers. It's being able to adapt and be moldable, teachable. That's one of the biggest things, is teachable. So that way you'll be successful. But that is what a flight attendant is. So this is my promise, and I put in 33 minutes. I look at the clock here now, it says 8:08 Eastern Standard Time. So just a fun little number. So if we do 33 minutes, what is that? 33, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I just want to do a fun number because then you would remember. If I said 30, you wouldn't remember. If I said 40, you wouldn't remember. But I said 33. So this is my promise. The one thing I would do to stand out from the rest, this is something that no one else teaches. I'm going to teach you how to stand out. Top 5 ways to fill your calendar. Talking about if you decide to be a contract flight attendant, and the number one key to getting hired. There is a business model as a contract flight attendant. What just happened? Hang on. Me. What just happened? That's funny. Need my voice back, please. Like, clearly just left. What the heck happened? I think we're good. There it is. Okay. There's a business model as a contract flight attendant. Most start out as a contractor and then turn it into full-time. That is how you make your entrance into the industry. Not everybody does that, but that is a very common way of being found in the private aviation industry, is being a contractor, where you work day trips, making anywhere from $700 to $1,000. If you're on the West Coast, it goes upwards to, I've heard $1,200, but if anybody's on the West Coast and their flight attendants in the chat or whatever, please do correct me. There's a business model as a contract flight attendant. Moving forward, how to overcome the 3 big reasons why you're not getting hired and noticed. 3 big ones. Let's learn how to overcome them. 1, 2. How to move from one contract trip to a full-time job. That is the goal of why there's so many people that start out as contractors, is because you're basically proving your worth. And it is a way of, let's see, how do we do? There we go, like that. You start out as a contractor and then go into a full-time job. It's kind of like a job interview. Like, instead of like on commercial side, there's this basically a year-long worth of being interviewed. Are these like different, like for Delta, it was like you had to do a character assessment, and there was a virtual interview, and then in 2008, that's what it is now. But there's like all these different processes before they even meet you in person. So it's like very, very cold and digital and not really seeing the person for who they are. The whole point behind this is how to move from one contract trip to a full-time job. Is that contract trip is it's your interview. So learn how to do that. I just used 2 minutes on the screen. Here we go. So this is I'm asking you, do I have your permission to teach you all of these things? Because all of these things will lead to more jobs and a filled calendar of trips where you will find yourself being forced to give trips away. Every flight attendant, contract flight attendant's dream is to be able to get to that point where they can start turning trips away because their calendar is full. So whenever I talk about a calendar being full, if this is considering if you're a contractor and not full-time, because when you're full-time, you'll have a rotation depending upon the company, anywhere from 8 days on, 6 days off, 15 days on, 13 days off, but it's on a rotation. So I say filled calendar, I'm talking about a contractor. Staying on point. So the one thing, in order to have a constantly filled calendar, one must have the ability to network. It is a must. Networking is a must. I did not realize that. It took me a minute for me to really understand why it was such a must. Here's the problem today with the new to industry flight attendants. The resumes stink, so they instantly get tossed, whether you're qualified or not. You could be the absolutely best on the planet, but if your resume does not say or show that you are really good at what you do, there's a lot of human eyeballs looking at your resume. It's both. It depends upon which company you're applying for. But when there's so many human eyeballs that are looking at your resume, and it instantly has that, it doesn't pass what a mentor of mine calls the grunt test, where it's basically like you look, like, can they instantly tell you within that moment whether you're like, is it worth looking at the rest of the resume? Problem with today, no courage. It takes a lot of courage. Shoot, this took courage. I've been in the industry for 4 years, aviation total 8 years, and this took courage to do this. Like it just does. Like it's an ever evolving courage. You have to have courage to be a flight attendant for today. Staying behind computers, filling out applications only for jobs that are posted. That is a huge, I found the people that are having trouble breaking into the industry, they've got the safety training, but they're staying behind their computer and just filling out the applications that way instead of actually going and meeting people, finding out the operators that are in your area, meeting them, introducing yourself, and then continuing to stay in contact with them. I taught my mentees this past week about what I call the magic list. That magic list is your lifeline and your oxygen to stay alive in this industry. And that if you are constantly evolving that list and doing the money is in the follow-up. So if you're constantly following up with them once a week, sharing your availability, you can't do that necessarily behind a computer, but if they go and see who you are as a person, there's something different when you meet people in person. And a question for you is, what if I told you there are tons of jobs that don't even get posted? A lot of people don't realize that they're waiting for the job listings to be posted and then go apply instead of going to find the jobs before they're posted and then talking to them and getting a job that way. So here we go. Set the timer for 60 seconds. It's now 8:13. So by 8:14 Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to tell you about what I do. And then if you want to take it or leave it, you can leave, or you can feel fulfilled at the end and walk away with immediate action steps. That's my goal, is to give you immediate action steps, whether that be is to join our mentorship that's starting on Monday, or you take the action steps that I'm going to provide for you right here and then take them and you can start doing stuff this evening. So personal success story, I will start with, you know what, I'm gonna come back to that. This is the 60 second, this is why I said 60-second timer is now already 8:14. So we have I say we, because it's a group of us right now. There's 16 founding members that we just finished, actually 8 weeks. I called it 6 weeks, but we did 8 weeks together, where we had weekly one-on-one coaching calls. And then we had, weekly one-on-one coaching calls, making a customized plan for wherever they are, people in certain areas. Then we looked and see what was actually in their area as far as operators, FBOs, caterers, private jet cleaning, all of those things, to find out who's local in their area. So if somebody that one of my mentees is in San Diego versus the other one that is in Sacramento, they have completely different customized plans. So then we do group coaching calls. I'm already passing the 60-second mark already, but here we go. Group coaching calls that are focusing on a specific subject. And then this first round, it evolved based upon what the one-on-one calls were like. But now we actually have I have a plan for this next coming 6 weeks. And I'll show that in a second. You also have access to the coaching calls that we did this past time, a WhatsApp group chat for support. You'll have instant access to video modules. And then right now on this round, I'm going to be creating version 2.0, and you will have lifetime access to this evolving course. What I want to make clear is this is not a flight attendant training, quote unquote, but this is the bottom line, is how to find work in private aviation, regardless of your past career experience. There is a gap in all of the trainings today where there is not like you spend the money on getting your safety training or the culinary training or whatever training you decide to do. And then they just like throw you to the wolves and say, good luck. But there's not actually of like, what do I do now? Like, I've got these trainings, I've spent the money. What do I do? That's what this is. It's teaching you how to find work. Did I forget to? I did. I'm missing a slide. Stand by. Stand by, stand by. Where is that slide? Did I delete it? Somehow, surely not. Somehow I did. Oh, I didn't. Here's one. See, this is what you call being flexible, moldable, adaptable to current situations. This is what the 7 weeks or the 6 weeks, the layout plan of it. You can take it or leave it. It's really not relevant, but it is planned out, and we have a specific plan. The ultimate goal that I will put out for this is that there is NBW, because I've gone way over my time. I've gone 3 minutes instead of 60 seconds. So this is it. This is all I'm gonna share. But there's NBAA base, which is in Las Vegas on October 17th through the 19th, which is a Tuesday to Thursday. I currently have I think maybe 6 of us that are going. not including me. 6 mentees that are going. And so I'm hoping to have more mentees from this group that will go. And so we will be making a customized plan in the previous 5 weeks of how to handle BASE. BASE is the largest private aviation convention of the year. It can range anywhere from 20 to 30,000 people. And that's can be overwhelming and stimulating. And if you have a plan, it helps alleviate some of that anxiety. So we will be working through that. This all starts on Monday, $997, yoursinflight.com/VIP, yoursinflight.com/VIP. And now to the fun stuff. That is what, I had to find out where I was. Did the timer. See, we'll be moldable, adaptable. You know what? I'm gonna go back to this one. Here we go. Success story. Let me tell you a story. This is where, if you've been on my email newsletter, you saw probably I'm doing 2 things at once. Heard some of it. So you're like, why should you listen to what I have to say? It's a good point. I have averaged in the past 2 years, I have averaged 10 contract days a month. That is not easy at all. Some days I had 20. There was one day I had 20, and then there was another where I had 3. So it really does go back and forth. But the average I had was 7 to 10 contract days a month for the past 2 years. And I'm also in that I made a good living in South Florida. So, and if you're familiar with the cost of living in Florida with rent and cost of living, I was also able to buy a car, and I put in feed my dogs well. Like that's like my scale of how well I'm doing is if I'm feeding them good food, home cooked food, or if I'm feeding them, I can actually order subscription service. Some people do have their other way of finding out how well they're doing, but that's mine is whether I can feed my dogs well. But this is hustling. And I want to make that very clear that this is not something that you just keep sending resumes and applications in online, but this is an actual hustling and learning and failing and learning that it's okay to fail and that you actually learn from those failures. And there's no, and the other part was I didn't have a comfort zone of a full-time job and a steady paycheck. So that was another thing that kept you hustling. There's something about the human nature, the human spirit, that if you don't have that comfort zone of always having a steady paycheck, it keeps you moving and motivated. So that's, take it or leave it, but that is my story. Now, where's I? This is all out of order, but this is what we do. It's totally fine. Everything's fine. This is the plan of action. This is where we are. Ta-da, present, full screen. Ta-da. And by the way, as you're watching this on YouTube, I can't see you just yet. So wait until I'll take care of my VIPs and see what they have in the chat here. But then like I said, I can't see the chat for the YouTube. So when I get done with the presentation, I'll go check out the chat as well. So if you're watching, just hang tight with me. So this is the plan of action. Personal story. I'm gonna give you the full breadth of it in about 5 minutes. So that way you can see where I'm coming from. The due process, there's 2 different directions you can go with your career in a private aviation. The action plan for you of what you're going to do from here. Are you going to go at it alone or with a mentor? Whichever direction you decide, you will have ammo in your pocket, information to be able to move forward. So 4 years ago is when I decided to I didn't even know what that meant, break into the private aviation industry, but it was like, somebody brought to my attention, like, why don't you start flying on private jets? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't think it was a thing, as silly as that is. And I've come to find out there's lots of people that think that. I didn't know it was a thing. So whenever she brought that to my attention, I'm like, okay, let's look into it. Like, that makes sense. I flew for Delta and from 2012 and took a break to take care of my health. But it never left me that I wanted to, aviation's been in my blood since I was 4. I knew I was going to be a flight attendant at that time. So I was like, it just makes sense. I was in better health at that time. So let's try it. So for the next 2 years, I flopped around trying to figure out how do I get hired? I took mentorship classes. I took culinary classes. I networked with WCA. This is also during COVID. And from like 2019 to 2021 for 2 years, I just flopped. I also networked with crews there in Arkansas that were based there. And I found myself getting very frustrated because I was like, nothing's happening. Like, this is a long time to be doing this and thinking about this, but not actually doing anything. Like, it's time to roll. I have a date on, I looked up, like it was, I think it was June 24th, whatever that Sunday was in 2021. I'm like, this is time. Like I made a trip to mom and daddy's. And I'm like, this is what I'm doing. August 1st is my go day. I'm going to Florida. And, but if you know anything, like if you learn anything about me, like whenever I have something put in my mind, like this is something that I'm gonna do, like there's no stopping me. Like this is what's happening. Like I'm very bullheaded, and then it can change just as fast in the direction, but that's not the case for aviation. So I moved to Florida in August of 21, and I had work within 3 weeks. I hustled. I did not have a plan of action. When I got to Florida, I had a place to live. I had a short-term rental for 3 months, but I did not have a job lined up. I had no clue of who I was going to talk to. I did get a flight attendant training here in South Florida. That's really kind of what got my motivation going. But I didn't have any other plan here, like zero, none. I was just like, it's time to go. I got to make some, nothing's been happening for 2 years. What have I got to lose? So through hustling and networking and figuring it out, I have maintained a living for the past 2 years doing exactly that. And I had my first gig within 3 weeks, and I've remained consistent ever since. So the next part here is thinking about what is the due process. Like I learned the hard way. And I, for some reason, that is what that's what magnetizes to me, is that I learned the hard way. But I am trying to, I'm giving it in a way now where it makes it very streamlined to have, like, if somebody came to me 2 years ago and said that they could help me break into, work in private aviation within 6 weeks, I'm like, where do I sign up? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I've been trying to figure it out for 2 weeks. I've taken mentorship classes. Like, what's happening? Like, why would I not? But anyway, that was a little soapbox. Now I digress. But the main way is that there's 2 ways of approaching this. Like you either have, if you have the funds to go to safety training, and please do only go to safety training at Air Care Facts or Flight Safety. Mark it down. Only go to safety training at Air Care Facts or Flight Safety. Period. Not like full stop. They're the only ones that are they're the ones that are recognized in the industry all across the board. Safety training. I got on my soapbox. I have to figure out where I was. 2 ways of approaching this. If you have the funds to go to safety training, do that, and then also culinary training. If you go to culinary training, I highly recommend Da Vinci. And I'm not associated with any of these. I'm friends with everyone, but I make nothing off of this. But so this is actually true information that I hope that you put in your pocket. For culinary training, do Corporate School of Etiquette with Miss Donna in California, Long Beach, and then, or Da Vinci. There's one on each coast. Da Vinci's in Southeast Florida. I'm like demonstrating, like, we're looking at a map here, but Da Vinci in Southeast Florida and Fort Lauderdale. They both are very well-known and recognized in the industry. However, they're expensive. So that's one way of approaching it, is you get those, and then you you create your resume with all of your stuff that you've learned and all of your trainings and skills, and making sure it's very prevalent that you've got your stuff, that you've got your ducks in a row. Or you do what I did and do it the hard way and hustle, finding contract work, because not everybody requires the safety training. Those are normally the smaller operators that have 1 or 2 jets, and they need a warm body, where you're then called a cabin attendant or a cabin server, cabin A. There's a million different names for us, but it's anything but flight attendant. We're technically not flight attendants in private aviation because they're not recognized by the FAA. That's why we get cabin A, cabin, whatever. So the 2 ways to approach is the hustle side, where you're actually networking with people, where you're showing people who you are, what kind of person you are, what kind of person of integrity you are, what kind of work ethic you have, showing your face, hustling, and showing up at their door. That sounds like, as I'm visualizing showing up to somebody's house, but like you're actually making the effort to go see them and hustling that way. And that's what I teach in the mentorship programs. I teach you how to find those people, how to approach them. What do you say, and not look like it's awkward, or you don't know what you're doing, or you're just flopping around like a fish on dry land. But there are those 2 ways. If you have the funds, I recommend going the way with the money of having the safety training and the culinary, because it makes your resume look like a rock star. Like, even if you don't have any previous aviation experience, it's very helpful. But I didn't have it, so I know how to approach it from the other direction of gaining aviation experience without having previous aviation experience. I know that sounds silly, but it's very true. You can ask any of my mentees. I show you how you can gain aviation spirit experience. You can start learning the lingo, how it works. Like aviation in itself is a whole nother ballgame, but private is even another animal in that it's very different. I teach you also ways to be noticed, ways to be remembered. And it can be simple things of like your business card. Do you have the right kind of paper for your business card, or or writing a handwritten thank you note whenever you had an interview? I've done physical portfolios of like pictures of my resume and plating that I've done and flower arrangements, and I've snail mailed them to people. People remember that. I still have people today that tell me, I was like, I remember when you mailed me that photo album. People remember it. And that's whenever they have ASAP trips, which is a trip that pops up within the last 24 to 48 hours, or within a few hours. If they remember you, they'll call you, no matter what training you have, because they just need a warm body on the plane. And I explain all that in the mentorship too. So now the action plan is up to you in that what is the next level of engagement for you? So do you feel confident that you can do this on your own? Do you feel like you've got some information that I've just given you that you can do? Had you ever thought of going to an FBO and getting a job there first so that way you can be noticed? Had you ever thought of getting a job at a private jet cleaning service? That way you can start getting aircraft experience and you start putting on that you have experience with a G550 or a Global 5000. And right now you may not even know what those are, but if you've been cleaning aircrafts, you first of all learned what proper cleaning solutions that you should use on board, because you don't use Windex or Chlor or anything that you'd use in your house. It's completely different than you would on board. So that's another skill that you could put on there. So you have aircraft experience and you have skills. So just taking that little bit of information, is that something that you feel confident that you could do on your own? Or do you feel that it is best that you have someone to hold you accountable? I have a couple of my mentees that they have scheduled out their one-on-one calls every week. So that way we're always being pulled forward. And God, I wish I had that. I cannot tell you. I wish if I had said someone that was able to, like, if I like fell off the wagon for 1 week, or I was blue or whatever, like I was just discouraged, to have somebody else that was there cheering me on, seeing things completely different than I did, because they can see the big picture of like, this is fine. We're doing great. We're doing fantastic. So are you a person that needs an accountability to be able to pull you forward, or do you feel like that you can do it on your own? So it also, I want to emphasize that I understand, like, if you're here, like, I know some of my mentees are here on the Zoom call, but you're here more than likely because you're looking for answers. You've been hearing the crickets and not hearing, or you're not even getting the automated responses. I've been there. Like I told you, I have a visualization of me in my room and in my gray plush chair, like crying. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I hadn't even a clue of who I was going to reach out to. And I also want to put in perspective of that there's time. Like, when you're spending so much time, like, time is something you can't get back. So when you're spending all of that time in pain and frustration, it takes a toll on your psyche, that it is difficult to keep propelling forward. It's not impossible, but it's having that accountability to help keep pulling you forward is priceless. I also want to emphasize that $997 is honestly, like, it's very inexpensive for what I offer. Like, I haven't flown in 2 months now, because I have completely delved into my mentees and creating what they need to be able to have success. So that way they don't experience what I experienced, and not knowing what I'm doing, or keep flopping around, not going anywhere. And I also want to emphasize that this is probably my last round of doing one-on-ones, because I am doing the 2.0 version this time. And after that, I'm creating the 2.0 to where it is purchasing the program, where it's video modules and whatever. It gives you the step by step, but it's not customized. It's basically, you are taking the information that I'm sharing, and then you are adjusting it to what it works for in your area or whatever. So if the one-on-one calls are something that's very important to you, or that you would see the benefit of that, I highly encourage you joining now for this next group that's joining on Monday, just so that way you can have that accountability. And it's a matter of choice right now. Are you wanting to do it fast with me, in that you can make plans, like you can put visualization in your memory of like, okay, if I'm gonna make plans of doing this, and I'm gonna go to base, NBAA base in Las Vegas on October 17th to the 19th. I'm gonna have an action plan for when I get there. Because they do hiring on the spot. There are people there that are recruiting, some that you don't know about, and I will be able to help guide you to like just watch what you say around this person, because they're recruiting when they may look like you and me, just any other person. But putting it, I chased a rabbit, back on track of like, if you can, there's something powerful in the mind that when you can say, okay, October 17th and 9th through 19th, like that is like my life is going to be completely different 6 weeks from now. Completely different. It's going to be like this mentorship is changing the trajectory of your life. And that sounds very bold and ballsy to say that, but it's true. Because if you don't know what you're doing and you've been flopping around for however many months or years, and then you have somebody that's able to like guide you step by step, like that changes everything. And then that's it. yoursinflight.com/VIP 997. And we start on Monday, 9/11. The irony. I didn't even think about that, about it being aviation and 9/11. There you go. 9/11. And there's that. I will send this out in the emails, so that way you have all of the information there. Stop the screen share. There are my VIP people. Hello. See, this is so weird. This is so weird. Like I can see, I think some of y'all missed what I said in the very beginning, but the live stream is, oh, there's all kinds of chat. See, I couldn't see it a minute ago. There's so much chat going on. How fun is that? Can y'all see it? Can y'all see the chat in the YouTube? My VIP people? Mashallah, Suzette, Sammy?
I can't see it.
No.
I'm on my phone, so I can't see it.
Okay. I'm so glad y'all joined. So these are my two mentees. All three are mentees, and Suzette and Sammy are actually in San Diego doing culinary training right now. And they came on here. So I'm so grateful to see y'all. All right. So let's look at the chat. Here we go. Let me see. But I don't see a live feed. Am I having technical difficulties? Miss Michelle, I hope you figured out what was going on. I couldn't see the chat. This part was new. I couldn't. It's just like I was talking to a camera all by myself. It's weird. Okay, I think she might be having technical difficulties. I didn't say it was waiting live. Is something wrong with the chat? Just on my site. So apparently, can you all not see me?
I can see you.
This is so weird. Okay, well.
I see you.
Yeah, you do on Zoom, but I had it set up so that way the live stream to YouTube was this, like what we see right here. But I'm looking at the chat on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Okay, I'm gonna do a chat. Okay, is anyone here? So weird. Well, live and learn. I'm not gonna drag this out anymore because maybe. Oh well, live and learn. It says eight are watching, and it shows streaming right here. Anyway, okay. If you are, do you guys, so tell me before we go, since there's some kind of technical difficulties with the YouTube, how was your culinary training today? Share with them how that was.
It was awesome. I don't know if Sammy's on right now, but and sorry for getting on late, guys, but we went really past 5 o'clock, but we definitely wanted to get on here to support Natalie because she is amazing.
Oh,
and you are, and she's very real, you guys. This is the real deal. It's not anything other than really just trying to help people and wanting them to have the success. So yeah, I've only been in this, I think, what, a month? I don't even know if that. So, and I'm down here with Sammy, and we're doing the culinary training. Today was our first day, so it was a lot of great information. And I highly recommend her class and her course. It has done great things to motivate me, and I couldn't have done this without her encouragement.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you guys had a good first day. And then you guys have 3 more days after this?
Yes.
3 more days? Okay, cool. All right. Sammy, how was your day?
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Day
good
was
to
great. Day was
Yeah.
great. I mean, thinking that we're already here getting all this stuff done. Sorry, I'm in the lobby of my hotel. I managed to cut through traffic just to hop on my phone. I didn't make it to my room yet. Oh no, of course, we're here to show support. I mean, we're only here because of you. So,
Thank you.
thinking 6 weeks later, I'm doing my final training, and I don't know. Looks like everything's just going to happen in just a few more days.
Yes.
First day of this. I mean, I'm doing this culinary class because it was recommended by you, or better, I found the contact through you, and it's so far very, very worth it.
Awesome.
It's not just culinary. She's teaching us etiquette. She's teaching us so many things, little details about it. We haven't really started cooking yet. The next few days are going to be cooking, but it's pretty all-rounded, full information, just kind of complementing everything you've taught us, and just kind of meeting other people and networking everywhere we go. And yeah, it's a beautiful feeling.
You're shining. I'm so excited. Hooray. Hooray. Hooray.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yes. Sammy was right. He was one of the very first ones that signed up, and he has it's your trajectory. The word I was having trouble with a minute ago has completely changed. It has completely shifted.
Oh, yeah.
And I am so excited for you. So, and then Mishala had an interview today, correct? She did. Yes. You're muted. Let me ask you to mute.
Hi, guys.
There you are.
Hi. Thank you so much for your wonderful support. I couldn't do without you, Nat.
Oh, thank
It
you.
was just like from day one that you've been there. It's just amazing. Great experience. I feel so much power. Thank you. Even waking you up here in the middle of the night and
It's all good though. It's all good.
Please, nobody does that again. Watch your clock. Watch your time. And then again today, and getting your text and to the last minute before my interview, you were there for me. Thank you so much. I learned so much, and I'm hoping that this friendship stays forever.
Yes.
And this connection and introducing me, connecting me with so many people in the aviation, from South Africa to Japan to any part of the world. We are connected because of the WhatsApp, because of you. Thank you. This connection means a lot to me. And of course, getting a right resume helps a lot. And that's, thank you again. That's without that, it's you connecting all the points, all the aspects that we need. Thank you.
Awesome.
The interview went, it's the first interview. I've never been in aviation. This is the first step. I think it was good, and we'll wait to see how it goes.
Awesome.
We just have to add more the certification and more adding to our resume. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, I was excited because they contacted you for the interview. Yes, very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. And then and you look beautiful. Your outfit, everything. Yes, you look very sharp.
Thank you.
I bet it went very well. So, and you kind of put things in a beautiful package. The three of you, before you started, put yourself back in those shoes for a second before you made the dive. What were some of the questions that you were thinking about, like you didn't have answers to, like, was this really worth it? And so what could you say to those that are in the chat or watching the replay that would help them see the power, not just me, it's the power of the group and the networking and the accountability being able to pull you forward?
I'm going to go first, also because I think it's starting to get crowded here in the lobby, and then I won't be able to talk. I'm gonna say, well, all of them. I mean, I didn't know what questions to ask at the beginning, and I got the answers to everything I wanted to do. And it's funny because I was coming here today, and I heard a saying that says, and I think it's a Stoic saying that they say, if you think hiring a professional is expensive, try hiring an amateur. And everything's just going to cost you more down the road. And this was the best investment I had ever made. This not just for the trajectory that helped me get on, the progress, the outlook that I have, really from just an emotional support, professional support, and just being there to answer any question I had and guide me. It's not an easy business. It's an obscure business. It's a secretive business. I would say just finding the WhatsApp groups that you had us join is something that would have been worth it just for that, for the connections that we made, for the guidance, for the obscure culinary schools that don't even have a website, and you call the owner and they pick up. It's crazy to think where I was literally not knowing about this industry just a few months ago to finding you and to finding the perfect resume writer, connecting us with people that I thought were idols in the industry, and now they're a phone call away or an email away.
They are.
I'm still wrapping my head around it. It's just amazing. So really, thank you. And as I said, I used to think that I could do this on my own, and who knows? But I'm sure as hell don't ever would want to do something like this without somebody like you.
Awesome.
Hands down.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Thank you.
Because you
Of course.
have changed. You since the very beginning, just even
Oh, yeah.
though it was 2 months ago, just your demeanor, your outlook on life,
all of it.
Everything has changed,
Yeah.
and it's very fun to see.
Yeah, thanks.
You're very welcome.
I definitely owe it a big part to you, if not all.
No.
Thank you.
It's not. It is I'm there to guide you. I want to make
Sure.
that very, very clear, and that for anybody that's watching, not just to Sammy, but anybody that's watching, is that I can give you the steps. I can give you the guidance. I can be there for you and support you, but you also have to take the action steps. You have to be the one putting people have come and asked me, can you guarantee me a job? Absolutely not. I cannot guarantee you a job because it has to do with what you do, what I share with you, but I can guarantee I will give you the steps to get a job. So
Sure.
Yes, thank you for that.
Agreed. No, of course. It's true. It's very true. It's like you're like the perfect parent or the perfect educator. You're not going to do the work for us, but you will definitely guide us and give us the tools to make beautiful things ourselves.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you for saying that.
Perfect.
That's
Of course.
very good.
Thank you.
Michelle or Suzette, do you have anything you want to share? For anybody that's watching?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell anybody who's on the fence or just kind of not really knowing what's going on, because this just came about. But if it's on your radar, it's there for a reason. I found that to be the case with me, and it happens fast. When it can go at your own pace, but once you get that fire in your belly, and then you have a partner like Natalie. Natalie's actually a big deal in this business. And I've learned that because everybody I talk to knows Natalie. She's a giver, and she's a friend now. And she really does do this because it brings joy to her heart. She wants to help other people. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you to Natalie, because it just happens. It's happening, and it's really exciting. And I know that I can always call her if I have any questions. And that's priceless right there.
Yes.
She's not just selling a course. She's a real person behind this screen who really truly cares and will pick up the phone, and talk to you. So I'm so happy that I met you, and I know that I owe you a lot. Just that I haven't made it yet, guys, but I'm on a really good course. But yes, the tools that she provides in her course are really invaluable, I feel.
Thank you. My gosh, y'all are giving me goosebumps. This is making me day. Thank you. I wasn't expecting this at all, but thank you. I don't even know what to say. So thank you for sharing that. I look forward to meeting you. These Suzette and Sammy, and I don't know if we've talked about it, Inshallah, if you're coming to Vegas or not, but I'm excited to meet y'all in person. Able to hug your face.
Yep.
Thank you again. Yes, if it wasn't for you, I remember I knew I want to be in the aviation. I made some friends before I met you, and some of my friends on social media, they are the one introduced me to you, and that's why I was able to connect with you. And I appreciate that for their recommendation. Otherwise, I didn't know you, but I got to connect with you, and so much encouragement and connect me the points where I have to start, what the solution is. This is amazing. It's a, that's what you need. You've been there, you experienced it, and now you're helping everybody else. That's the gift that you have it, then giving it to us. It's priceless. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you for saying that, because that's a very key factor in this industry is the giving back factor.
Yes.
In that paying it forward. Like I'm investing into you, and then there will be people, like it's going to happen. There will be people that come across your path that you can then give to them in whatever way, like where they may be having the cricket from all the resumes being sent, and you can give a word of wisdom on what you did instead to be able to get. So anyway, I appreciate you bringing up the giving factor, because that is what this industry is about, for sure. Is
And it's all connection, and who you know.
Mhm.
It's only who you know.
It is indeed. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you all for being on here today. I really appreciate that. I know that the ones that were watching the replay, it will mean a lot to them just to be able to get is it unbiased? I don't know if it's biased, unbiased feedback, but just like you can just tell it's genuine. So thank you for that. I was not expecting that. That means a lot, what you all have shared. But I'm gonna close it out. I'm not one that just keeps hanging on for no reason whatsoever. And I will check the chat one more time to see if there's anything. I don't know what's happening. So we're moving on. I'm not sure what's happening. So if you're watching the replay and you were on here and you saw and you were chatting or something, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but it will be posted on the live tab. But anyway, thank y'all. I appreciate you
Thank
very,
you.
very much. It means a
Have
lot
a
to
good
me.
night.